Guys, it's Jay Lobos coming back to you on another episode, and today I wanted to talk to you guys out there that maybe have really low credit scores, high 400s, low 500s, don't know exactly what to do, how to bounce back to having healthy credit above the 680s. And if you're in that situation, stay tuned for more information right now. So for the ones that actually don't know, obviously the channel, the Jay Lobos channel, I'm actually the owner. My name is Justo, president and CEO of BuildWorks Strategies. We're actually a credit repair company here in Florida. We actually have a few branches here in South Florida, as a matter of fact, and another branch over there in Orlando. And what we actually do is that we specialize in credit restoration. So obviously the point of this video and this channel is to bring awareness, to bring information to you guys out there that are maybe credit challenged, are looking to bounce back, are looking to have healthy credit, and maybe want some more information. So as a matter of fact, today I was literally in my processing department while I was passing by there. One of my processors asked me, Justo, I have a person on the other line. She currently has an account with Capital One. The account defaulted. She's looking to apply for another Capital One credit card. Should she pay that credit card off first before applying again? So I was like pretty intrigued, right? The first question that I always like to go ahead and ask is, what are her credit scores? So she went ahead and she pulled up her credit report. We saw the credit scores, and her credit scores were literally below the 500s, at the 500 range, more or less. So obviously they're pretty low. So for the ones that actually don't know, the credit platform, which is obviously a FICO scoring platform, ranges from 300 all the way to an 850. A 620 is literally where fair credit starts. That's kind of like the benchmark to an extent. And healthy credit, which is obviously good credit, starts at a 680. Anything above a 740, 760 is considered excellent credit. So how do we come back from having obviously a really low credit score, and how to get back to that? Now, obviously in this particular case, this individual did decide to go ahead and take the next steps with us, and she's obviously in the program, because in credit, there's a combination of things that have to happen in order for you to achieve healthy credit scores. So in this particular case, she does have a couple of negative accounts that have gone into collection, accounts that have been charged off, which is pretty much 30% of her overall credit score. Now, for everybody out there, in order for you to achieve the highest score possible, remember, you can't have any kind of blemishes. So if you're considering, obviously, of trying to get your scores to the highest possible, consider the fact of maybe you could have to go ahead and dispute some of these negative accounts if you have them. If you have accounts with late payments, if you have accounts in collection, charge off, public record information, you're going to have to go ahead and initiate and fire off a dispute. So in order for you to get to those credit scores, 740, 760, whatnot. But obviously in this particular case, for this individual going through the program, going through the process, in the meantime, there's a few things that you could go ahead and take into consideration and also apply yourself. If you're also not contemplating of disputing, but you want to find maybe a different source, a different avenue on how to increase your scores, well, then this is exactly what you guys could go ahead and do. So also for you guys out there, we actually have a website, builderstrategies.com. And in the website, I have a section on top. It actually says credit card apps. Through the credit card apps, I've created kind of like a little model template that actually tells you, given the fact of where your credit scores are at, you should apply for this card. If you've already reached a credit scores 580 to a 620, you should apply for this card. If you are over the 620s, you should apply for that card, so on and so forth. Because guess what? Even though that there is creditors out there that do offer, what I'm referring to is actually a secured credit cards. Just because you're going in there with your own funds, your own resources, your own money, it doesn't mean that they're going to give you the credit card. You could still be denied. And obviously, in that particular case, you're going to get an inquiry. An inquiry could drop your scores anywhere from 3 to 8 points. So by knowing exactly where to go and how to do things, you could avoid that situation. So one thing that I always, which is obviously what I told my processor, go ahead and pull up the website. And on the website, there's a credit card that I always highly encourage people to apply for. It's actually called, it's a bank here in South Florida. It's called Capital Bank. And they have a product called Open Sky. The credit card's like a 99% proof that you will go ahead and get approved if you come in with a deposit. People always ask me, how much money should I put in there? I always tell people, don't tie your money into a fully secured credit card, especially the only way that you're going to get that money back is if you go ahead and close out the account. So in order for us to go ahead, at least take advantage of the card by increasing the credit scores, put the minimum, which is actually $200. Do keep in mind, these type of credit cards have higher interest rates, are not the best. To be honest with you, they're pretty crappy, but nevertheless, it's going to serve a purpose. And the purpose for this individual or for you guys out there is that it's going to give you a boost. The boost could be anywhere from 35 to 45 points. So now if you're at the low 500 credit score, another 45 could give you mid 500s, right? More or less. Now, obviously, if we're trying to get to the 620s minimum, you're going to need an additional card. So this is what I always tell people too. And for you guys out there, again, below a 580 credit score, you're still in the range for these types of banks that, like commercial banks, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they offer secure credit cards, Citibank. When you're getting into those type of institutions, below a 580 credit score, you're still running that risk. And I know this from personal experience because I was a business banker for Bank of America for 6 years. So more or less, I know their guidelines and they're pretty much all in that same area. So for people, now that you get to the 550s or the mid 500s, you should also consider an additional secured card. And again, guys, obviously, given the fact of where we're at, yes, we're going to have to put money down. It's something that sometimes is uncomfortable because obviously it's my money, but nevertheless, this is going to serve a purpose for a future endeavor, which is potentially getting you to really good credit scores where you're going to get the best favorable rates, the best favorable fees. You might not have to come up with some sort of down payment deposit. It opens up the area and the avenues for you guys out there looking to purchase a home, looking to get into your own business venture, those type of things. So there is going to be a purpose. These cards are going to serve a purpose to get to this end result. So initially, it's unfortunate, but this is another scenario too. And I could talk for personal experience. I went through this process because in the beginning, there was not a lot of information that was being deleted on my credit report, given the fact that there's not a lot of people with the same name and last name as me. And given the fact most of the information kept coming back as verified or validated, and some stuff was not coming up. So what I had to do is focus on the second biggest portion that builds credit, which is obviously the conversation that we're having today, which is about applying for credit cards. So the next step, once you've applied for that Open Sky credit card, you've gotten it. Don't do multiple applications per month because that could also go ahead and tarnish your credit. So my encouragement, or what I tell my clients when they come into our program, I want you to apply for a credit card every 30 days or every other month, right? So now in that particular situation, the next credit card you should apply for, we also have on the website. It could be something like a First Progress or First Premier, a Credit One Bank. And again, guys, I've gone through these credit cards. They're not the best. The rates are pretty high. They're pretty crappy credit cards. They're probably going to charge you to even make a payment over the phone. But again, that credit card's going to serve a purpose. Once you go ahead and apply for one of these credit cards, again, you could also check these out on our website. On top is going to say credit card apps. And if you click on the first one, which is the Open Skies, it's going to open up multiple credit cards, which is obviously a variety of them, right? Go through another one of those because a second credit card, and again, you're going to put the minimum possible, which is another $200. Those $400 could mean the difference from anywhere from 75 to about 80 points. So now when you've achieved a 580 credit score, this is what I was trying to tell the lady because she wanted to apply for another Capital One credit card. Capital One, as a matter of fact, from all the retail type of banks, commercial banks, it's actually one of the few banks that actually allow you that even though you've had a credit card with them, you've defaulted, you could still apply for a new one. And they actually have a pretty neat product, which is, I love Capital One, by the way. I have a few of them myself now. And Capital One offers you a partially secured credit card. So now once you've achieved above the 580s and you're below the 620s credit scores, once you apply for a Capital One secure credit card, it's going to give you three options. Either to put a deposit for $49, $99, or $200. As we know, the lower the score, the more you're probably going to have to put. So if you're really close to the 600, 620s, you might just have to put a deposit of $49. What I do love about this credit card's actually, they do give you a full refund back after a period of time, usually about 12 months. The interest rates are going to be much more favorable than the other first two that you applied for. But nevertheless, applying for these credit cards on a month-to-month basis could give you anywhere from about 100 to 125 points in a matter of 60 to 90 days. Again, if you want to go ahead and get yourself to that next level, disputing your negative accounts and negative information is going to be crucial. Remember also inquiries, they take 10% of your credit scores. So knowing exactly where to apply and how to apply is going to be very, very important. And a few key pointers, when you guys are applying for credit cards, remember that the lenders look for what's called the household income. You could actually include this. So you could actually include your spouse's income. If you live with your kids or you live with your parents, you could go ahead and add this, which could increase the limit versus balances. The utilization aspect of it. So once you go ahead and add somebody in the application, which is actually what's called the household income. So for you guys out there, if you live with your parents, or if you're if you're a parent and you're living with your kids, or you have a spouse, add that income in there, because that income could boost the amount of income that you guys make versus your debts, which obviously they take that into consideration. So guys, I hope this video was very informative, very informational. If it was, please like, share, go ahead and share the video. Until the next time, thank you so much. Have a great day.